Allow me to take you to a corner amidst the cold and stunning cliffs of Iceland, where the sea breeze intertwines with the lighthouse's gleam. A majestic lighthouse stands tall, fulfilling its duty to guide ships through the dark and treacherous night. At the helm of this lighthouse was a caretaker, a man whose crucial task was to keep the flame alive, a light that shone to shield sailors from the deadly shore rocks. Each week, a small dose of oil would find its way into his hands, the very essence that fueled the flame, igniting the light. A ritual that ensured ship safety and kept them far from treacherous cliffs. Yet, even in the sturdiest of stories, life weaves its unexpected turns. On a wintry day, when the wind blew, freezing the world and snow gently blanketed every surface, a neighbor knocked on the lighthouse keeper's door. "I need a bit of oil to light my stoves and warm my home," he said with sincere urgency. Faced with such a request, how could the caretaker refuse? Generously, he handed over a bit of oil, and the neighbor left with gratitude. But tales of assistance rarely end with a single act. Soon, an elderly woman gently tapped his door. "Please, could you lend me some oil? I need to cook for my family," she murmured humbly. The lighthouse keeper could only feel empathy and solidarity with this deeply human request. The oil changed hands, and the elderly woman departed with a smile. Later that night, another plea arrived. A man, desperate to free his car stuck in the snow, implored for a bit of oil to lubricate the wheels and regain mobility. Once again, the caretaker yielded. He couldn't allow someone to remain stranded in the merciless cold. However, as the favors were exchanged, a silent tragedy took shape. The lighthouse, running out of oil, began to extinguish its light in a melancholic sigh. In the darkness of that fateful night, the cliffs claimed their toll. 2 ships ran aground in the obscurity, victims of a lighthouse that had lost its light. Clarity arrived with the harsh words of the company owner who had entrusted the lighthouse to the caretaker. "Your nobility has betrayed you. The oil was given to you for one purpose, the sole purpose, to keep the flame burning and guide the lost through the night." The caretaker argued that he couldn't deny those in need, that he simply wanted to do what was right, and what was right was to help those 3 people. Sadly, the company owner made him realize that his choices had led to a fatal outcome, as hundreds of lives were lost on the 2 ships that ran aground the previous night. Hearing this, the caretaker felt a deep sorrow from which he could never recover. At this point, I'd like to ask you something. What is your true purpose? Imagine you are that lighthouse keeper, and right now I am handing you the oil, which is your essence, time, effort, and love. Where should you put that oil, which is your most precious gift? Would you give it to just anyone? Of course not. Sometimes we ourselves stray from our true purposes and priorities in life, those objectives that define our path and guide us toward meaningful goals. By sharing oil with those who request it, the caretaker demonstrates a good heart and willingness to help others. However, this generosity also leads to a distortion of his priorities. By spreading your essence for different purposes, you lose sight of the primary responsibility of keeping your lighthouse lit. This signifies how often in life you can lose focus on your main goals due to distractions or secondary requests. With this, I don't mean for you to be selfish. I want you to see the situation from a conscious perspective. The story also underscores the importance of making well-thought-out decisions. The caretaker initially made choices based on compassion and the desire to help, but didn't consider the long-term implications of his actions. This prompts us to carefully evaluate our choices and how they can affect our core objectives. Have you found yourself in a similar situation? What results have you obtained? Conscious perspective allows us to understand that there is even more to the story than what we see up front, and that these actions can either benefit us or cause us pains that are hard to recover from. Remember your past experiences, and now I ask you, If you were consciously aware that these decisions were leading you to a negative outcome or diverting you from your true purpose, would you act in the same way? Exactly. There's your answer. Just like the lighthouse keeper, we can lose our way in life if we let ourselves be carried away by external demands and requests, even if they are noble. The key is to remember what our inner flame is, our essential purpose, and to make decisions accordingly. And don't feel bad for not helping, not being there, or not sharing your essence with some people. Remember, you are on the same path as them. Make conscious decisions aligned with your values and goals, and only then can you live a meaningful and authentic life. Thank you for listening to this beautiful reflection. We'd like you to share your opinion in the comments. We'd be delighted to hear from you. We also want to remind you that we have information in the description to help you reach your goals more quickly about focus. We appreciate your likes and your subscription to the channel. See you soon in another reflection from the wisdom of the monk.